Hey, I'm Otto Hashmi and I'm a musician from London. You know, as a recorder player, I play a lot of early music, but also a lot of contemporary music, both classical and pop music. I've worked for pop artists, doing everything from playing recorder to doing live sound and music tech. So it's a bit all over the shop, and I like to think that all of the experience from these different things comes and complements each other in ways I normally wouldn't expect. So my new track Popstars, which came out on Friday the 18th of August, doesn't actually use that much recorder, but where it does use it, it's really quite a key role. Throughout all of my music, I think it's really important to have a strong motif, and in this track I really emphasize the theme of the chorus by repeating it on the recorder in these different contexts, and actually at the climax of the piece it comes out with that line again on the recorder. So an interesting thing working in pop context is using 12-tone equal temperament. However, this voice flute by Jack Darak in 4/15 is not in equal temperament. This is in quarter comma mean tone, and not only that, but because I'm using it in a modern context, it becomes a 440 instrument in C sharp. So it's some very interesting playing, which allows for some really cool Zen harmonic stuff to happen. And I just love the way that kind of crunchiness of the tuning interacts with how I sing, which is much closer to equal temperament within this context. So you'll see this uses some really interesting fingerings on the instrument. So every track on the upcoming EP references a different style of dance music, a different dance music culture, and Popstars in a small way is referencing a lot of early US house, UK garage, and this kind of funky sort of dance feel. So whilst you've got this melody going on in the recorder, you have this snare pattern. I was really inspired by it's the track, it is Jack Your Body by, and I can't remember, but it's an early house track. I will and it's got this thing, the jack snare, when you've got these tracks and you've just got this snare drum that just hits in between all of the syncopations, and it's just, you know, it's so good. And having the crunch of that syncopation, then with the crunch of the temperament of this instrument doing the melody with then equal temperament chords underneath. There's so much crunch at that point, and it's interesting to hear what other people think of the track, but for me that is my proudest thing about this, is when it all comes together and it's just crunch on crunch, rhythmic crunch, harmonic crunch, melodic crunch. It's just like... What inspired me to blend recorder and electronics? Within the context of this project, so my EP Music for the End Times, which comes out on Friday the 15th of September, there really are two key stories that are being told. There is society's reflection on a kind of uncertain future, and that's really represented through this element of club music culture, the hedonism and the living for the night idea, which is expressed through electronic dance music. In contrast, there is this element of looking towards the past and antiquity, and kind of this thought of, well, things have always worked out, so who's to say that's not going to happen now? So really, I'm actually not trying to blend these two different things. I'm really having them in their own corners, creating a dialogue to make this contrast that I think has brought about a really fascinating sound. It's been a journey for me figuring out what works. I really didn't want to make something that is just going, look at me, I'm using the recorder, because it's so obvious. I mean, for people who play recorder, and certainly within early music circles, it doesn't need to be explained why we're working with this instrument. I would rather not try and draw in an uninitiated audience by being gimmicky. I would rather just let the music speak for itself, and you know, maybe people won't even realize I'm playing recorder, and that's fine, because in some ways that is the best result, when it's not even raised an eyebrow about an instrument which only over the last 100 years or so has gained this annoying reputation. Oh, certainly one piece of advice that I was given years ago, which has really held true, within a pop music, within a music tech environment, is learn Ableton. You know, once you know Ableton, you can do a lot of things within a live context, and a lot of things that would require individual pieces of expensive equipment. If you've got a good laptop, you've got a half decent audio interface, and you've got Ableton, there is so much that you can do and really make different things happen on stage that otherwise would just be bulky and cumbersome.